there's a fight spoiling, Homos is always around. Facing him is his elder brother, Molos, and Molos is thirsty for power. His intimidating behavior gives away his ambition to usurp Alpha. Alpha doesn't want to get involved, but he watches the family squabbles carefully. To avoid fighting, Alpha craftily holds a youngster next to him, for the little one's protection, but also as a shield. Molos makes the first charge, but is not very insistent. Baboons prefer to use dissuasive force before coming to blows. Homos dodges the attack, and now it's his turn to provoke Alpha. But Alpha remains neutral. Molos, however, still needs to vent his aggression, so he turns on his brother. Homos knows he's not going to win this battle against his older and heavier brother. Instead, he suggests forming an alliance with him against other members of the troop. It's agreed. But the other baboons prefer to flee from these two troublemakers. All that's left for them to do is to try to challenge Alpha again. He still hasn't moved. They'd really like a good old scrap, but Alpha has seen it all before. Molos can raise his eyebrows, Homos bare his teeth. Their provocations leave him cold. In frustration, Molos sets out again after Homos. Molos wins in a victory of strength over cunning. Homos took a nasty fall from the top of the tree, and the only thing he can do now is to count his battle wounds. A damaged wrist, no question of taking part in a coalition against the youngest now. And with his left cheek pouch ripped, it's going to be a while before he can chew normally. They're only superficial injuries and don't put his life in danger. However, as he lost the fight, he can no longer oust Molos. From now on, he'll have to submit to his brother's authority. There's no doubt about it from the way Molos is showing off. He's decided to make the most of his superiority. But there's a law in baboon society that will bring him down a peg or two. The lower members in the hierarchy must present their hindquarters to the highest place to be, shall we say, inspected. It's somewhat humiliating. With all that's been happening, the troop hasn't had a single meal. So it's time for Alpha to move them along and lead them to a feeding ground. Contrary to habit, as if he had a premonition, Alpha decides to leave the youngest in the clearing near their tree and set off ahead as a scout. The troop of young mothers walk through the plains under the orders of their First Lady. Alpha is reassured. He knows that these eaters of still plants mean no harm. The troop can come and feed here. But where are they? They ought to be at the edge of the wood, waiting for a signal from him. There must have been some sort of misunderstanding, because on the other side, the troop appear to be waiting for him to come and get them. Eventually, it's Molos who takes the initiative to lead the troop to the meadow. Alpha seems to know that Molos won't be long in ousting him. But for the time being, the young and the females aren't willing to change their habits. They catch up with Alpha for their daily feast. Even with his experience, there are some things which leave Alpha perplexed, such as Molos's behaviour. For several days now, he seems to have had one thing in mind, getting to the top of the social ladder, and yet here he is, presenting his hindquarters to show his submission. Suspicious, Alpha refuses to get involved in Molos's tricks. And the message is clear. When a baboon turns his back on you, it's because he doesn't want anything to do with you. Politics is complicated among Thoth's creatures. The borders are often blurred between dominant and dominated. In young males, the desire to gain power is often stronger than anything. Molos has conquered Alpha, a victory of brutality over wisdom.